Good evening and salutations, my Jade fans. So, Ned and Olivia are renewing their vows. I've done this about twice, and I have. I'm just gonna be honest. I know this is probably gonna be just me just being kind of a Debbie Downer, but to be honest, I didn't really care. I'm not a fan of Olivia. Haven't really been a fan of hers for a while. But I will sit there and say on the positive side, I don't really have much. Is that, you know, they came back from what most people would consider impossible. The whole cheating thing, it's a little bit more than a deal breaker for most people. So the fact that they actually came back from all that, um, Olivia acting like Olivia and Ned cheating and everything like that, the fact that they actually came back from that, moved forward, and got to a place where they are actually renewing their vows says a lot as far as the testament of time is concerned. Now, normally I'm not really a coupley, like shippy type of person or whatever. But one of my favorite couples, I have to sit there and throw my hat in the ring, isn't even on this show. It's actually Doug and Julie from Days of Our Lives because they literally stand the test of time. You know, it's sort of, and I can't. Here's the thing: I can't really compare them to, like, let's say, Edward, and Lila. But as far as the people that I see that just stood the test of time, will be Julie and Doug, and I feel like with Olivia and Ned, they got through something that most people didn't. So on that note, it's a very positive thing that they got, remarried. I mean, renewed their vows and everything like that. And, it's great. And, yeah, and I think that's just as a positive as I'm going to sit there and put it on that whole event. Chase and Brooklyn didn't really do too much. I mean, you can see the attraction there and the flirtations there, but they didn't really sit there and do anything. There was a couple of times they bumped into each other. They checked on Bailey. They talked a little bit, mostly about Olivia and Ned, and them being married or remarried and how happy they are for them. But to be honest, I kind of felt like they weren't really needed in this episode at all. Hell, even Sam came in like literally towards the end of the episode, and I was like, oh, cool. Got like maybe 10, 15 more minutes left of the class, and you decide to show up late. It's awesome. You brought absolutely nothing to this episode, but you were there, so cool. Now Dante wasn't there talking to Chase, and one of the things that Dante said was that it seemed like their relationship lost its momentum the minute that Drew came back. I don't know what that's about. I feel like it's going to be some sort of a love triangle. If I had to sit there and guess, because we haven't really had one of those in a while, so. Sonny is still not. Sonny is not back on his meds. I really don't feel like this is still like Sonny. I feel like this is Sonny that's off his meds, which is weird because last time we saw him, he was sitting there talking to Brando about checking themselves in, so this way they can get better and kind of getting back on step with life or whatever. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, cool. So you're gonna be taking your meds and you're not gonna be all um, wilding out with Carly and just kind of being all up in her face. And clearly, he did not take his mess because he is still sitting to talking about this grand gesture. At one point, Ned Ned told Olivia because after the whole thing was over, Sonny and Ned was talking, and Sonny was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving. I got big plans or whatever." And he looked at Ned, and Olivia was like, "So when did y'all become, buddy buddies and, secrets and stuff like that?" And Ned was like, "Yeah, he's planning some sort of big gesture for Carly." And Olivia was like, "All right, well, I gotta sit there and warn, Carly." And Ned was like, yeah, maybe you should just kind of keep out of this. Let them just kind of, handle their own thing. And of course, Olivia, which I'm not gonna lie, I kind of was like, maybe you should have kind of just kept out of this instead of running to her, like whatever. Like, I don't know. I just was not really a fan of that. I understand that they're friends and heads up and everything, but I was like, really? Are, are we in high school now? Like, what are we doing? Which didn't really matter because you already spilled the beans on that and told Carly about, um, his big gesture. He also did sit there and say that Sonny was acting kind of erratic, at the nightclub and stuff like that. Didn't really get to what he. I thought Drew was gonna sit there and tell Carly what he said, what Sonny said about him. But you know, judging by the flashbacks, he still is reeling from that comment. So, yep, Sonny's a dick. Um, Hell, it was so bad that. And now, before I get to, it's amazing when you have like two thoughts in your head that you just kind of clashing. But one of the things I was going to sit there and say was that, Drew still has Jason's memories. So I'm just sitting there wondering, is he going to be one of the people that's going to sit there and know that Sonny is acting kind of off? Like, Jason could sit there and tell when Sonny, maybe having like a manic episode or whatever, and it's a little kind of off. And I feel like maybe Drew should kind of know that a little bit just because he still does have um Jason's memories. What the hell else I was gonna sit there and say? Oh yeah, it was so bad that Carly was sitting there practically like kind of hiding from Sonny because she knew that Sonny was there and she didn't really want to sit there and face him. Because Sonny's been all up in her face or whatever. But they did actually kind of meet for a little bit, and Sonny was like, "Oh, we're still gonna sit there and meet for tonight or later on or whatever." One second. And Sonny was like, he's still gonna be off tonight or whatever. Apparently today is Friday. I don't know why, but today is Friday, whatever. Um, because he did sit there and say for Friday. But they're talking and stuff like that, and Michael, I guess he kind of walked in right on time because he must have probably felt the tension or whatever, and he came in there, and Olivia, well, not Olivia, I'm about to call her Laura Wright. Carly was like, oh, let me sit there and help Olivia with a dress or whatever. Let me just go and just get the hell away from you. Um, Michael was like, is everything okay? Because he kind of knows that Sonny was a little off. Here's the thing: I feel like people are noticing that Sonny's a little bit off, but they don't know exactly like, are you taking your meds? Are you kind of off or whatever? Um, and I feel like in some sort of ways that like Michael, maybe not Dante, but Michael and Carly should have probably picked up on something. Um, because Michael was like, are you sure you're okay?" And Sonny was like, "Yeah, no, I'm great. Everything is great." I'm like, it's really not, but okay. Hell, he was even sitting there talking to Laura, and Laura's like, "Is everything alright?" And Sonny's like, "No, it's great. It's even better than ever," or something like that. And Laura's like, "Are you good? Because you don't really seem like you live in a reality." Um. Anyway, towards the end, when Carly finds out that, confirms Sonny's, grand gesture or whatever, Carly walks up to Sonny and is like, "Yo, listen, can we talk? Like, alone. Like, we gotta, we gotta talk alone." And you can see in the previews that she is shutting this ish down. Like, this whole grand gesture or whatever, she's just pissed off. She's like, "Yo, you're not listening to a word what I'm saying or what I've been saying for the past 3 weeks or 4. I've lost track of time at this point. Um, and I know this has a lot to do with the fact that he's not on his meds and everything like that, but also this just kind of seems like it is a broken record. That's another reason why it's been kind of not taxing, but a little kind of exhausting because it's like you're watching it, and it just seems like it's just the same record over and over and over again. It's like Sonny wants what he wants. Carly's like, I want space. Sonny's like, nah, we good. We don't need space. We just need to be together and just move forward and get past everything. And we can do it because reasons, you know? And I get it, but after a while, this is starting to get kind of annoying a little bit. Like it is, because it's just a broken record. But for some odd reason, somebody higher ups thinks it's a good story to keep going. I don't know. I feel like at some point, this is just I'm just tired of Sonny just being a broken record over and over again. I think that's what's really come down to. Now, Willow asks Harmony to come over to get the birth certificate. But Harmony's like, oh, yeah, I'll find it. You know, it's one of my other important stuff. Don't worry, I'll make sure I'll put a rush on it. And then later on in the episode, you know, she comes up to Alexa and she's like, yeah, I need your help. So yeah, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out something. I don't know. Maybe some of the writers at GH are looking at like the YouTube fan theories and stuff like that. I was like, hey, well, maybe we should sit there and kind of put this whole Willow and um Willow's real mom is like Nina or something like that. Because that's just been the fan theory that's been going on for a hot minute. For actually quite a while now. So I'm just wondering if they're actually going to sit there and do that. It'd be kind of interesting, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't sit there and give credit to the fans for actually coming up with that theory, but whatever. Now, Christina did come by, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of weird. At first, when she walked in, I couldn't tell if she was Christina or Molly. Just because the way they were not there talking, like they were talking in this like Riddler kind of way. So at first, I was like, "Is that Christina?" Also, I haven't seen her in a while. But anyway, long story short, Alexis asks, Christina, is it okay, for her and Harmony to be friends? And I'm gonna be honest, Christina gave this long, drawn out answer, and I'm sitting there writing, yes, she okay with it? No, she's okay with it. And after a while, I just threw the pen like, all right, when she gives a definite answer, then I'll just, write something down. And more of the story, she did sit there and say yes, that she's cool with them being friends. Homie's done a lot of bad things. Bad things to her. Um, but she's also been a good friend of Alexis. She's been a victim to Shiloh as well. And she also helped push Shiloh away. So with that being said, Christina's like, I'm not gonna sit there and get, in the way of y'all being friends, especially when, she's really came through for you. So long story short, she's okay with them being friends. Which is great because when Armin came to the door, Lex was like, "Oh, cool. Oh, you saved me a phone call." But Harmony is. Here's the thing. Harmony has a lot of baggage. I mean, on top of what she was about to do to Christina, she also gave her only daughter up to Shiloh as some sort of, I don't know, a way to get closer to Shiloh. Like, you knew exactly what Shiloh was going to sit there and do to your daughter. And you were just like, nah, that's cool. It's fine. And I get it. It's a cult and everything like that. And I can understand to some extent psychologically, how she was dependent on Shiloh and, she needed validation, this, that, and the third. But at the same time, it's like you sold out your own daughter. On top of selling out, well, I mean, on top of practically giving up Christina to Shiloh. And I'm just like, Alexis, with all that being said, you're still cool with being friends with her? I don't know. I feel like I won't even sit there and say it's baggage. It's just like, damn, like some people got a pass, but between your own daughter and her that they're trying to offer up your daughter, you still cool with? Okay, whatever. I no, I just, I don't know about that friendship. I really don't. Oh, and also Leah was there. Now, Austin did wind up going to the wedding after talking to Brett. Asking about, what does the kiss mean? I don't understand why you're asking Brett, what does the kiss mean between you and Maxie? Why don't you just ask Maxie? I don't understand that. Why are you asking Brett for? What is she gonna know? Um, Britt is like, go to the wedding and find out. And ultimately, he did want him going. And, when he got there, he saw Leo and Olivia and Ned. He kind of realized that, maybe I do want to get to know these people. Well, most of those people, because, you know, he's still not okay with what Brooklyn did. And neither am I. So I'm like, bro, keep that energy. I don't know. I'm just, it's weird. Before I even started doing this recording, I was not there thinking, I was like, man, I really don't like Brooklyn. But as weird as that is, I would, I feel like I'm going to regret saying this, but I feel like I would sit there and take Brooklyn over Sam. Like, if I had to sit there and just put like a podium or whatever, Sam would still actually be below Brooklyn. So she got that going for her. Oh, and Brad was there, which, to be honest, I feel like he was another character that didn't really serve any purpose in this episode. Oh, and Monica was there too. Oh, and Tracy also got arrested. I feel like I'm saying this stuff now because they just threw in so many people into this episode. Like Laura was there. Well, Laura was there to sit there and officiate. Tracy got arrested for counterfeiting, or a counterfeit ice princess. This was clearly before my time. Um, but yeah, she's on a hook for that. So it seemed like the feds came in there to sit there and take her this time. Because when they walked through, Tracy was like, What's going on?" Like, I'm not arrested. She dropped it. It's like, no, they the feds. They don't play by those city cop rules. Like, they taking you in for much bigger charges. Oh, and I guess tomorrow, because Austin was talking to Maxie, and, he pretty much like, just kind of putting all his cards on the table, like, how I feel about you. Let's talk about the kiss. Where do we go from here? Now I saw the previews of tomorrow, and it's something that Maxie just didn't say before they got started. When Maxie was not there telling, Maxie was not there telling Brooklyn that Austin remembered something, so that just adds more to Brooklyn's stress. On top of that, there was one point where I don't know if Maxie was not there talking to Brook. Oh, Maxie and Brooklyn were talking with Tracy. And, they were sitting there talking about the whole thing is over, she can get her baby back. And you can see the look on Brooklyn's face. And it's, I already said it in this review, I'm not a fan of Brooklyn. But with that being said, that is still a pretty crappy situation. She's getting attached to this child, and how could she not? And if I, and, it's pretty much a clock that's ticking, Eventually, Peter's going to be caught, and Max is going to get back her baby. And where is that going to sit there and leave Brooklyn at? You know, I mean, yeah, she can sit there and say she was doing this to protect Max's baby, and this, that, and the third, but and she did develop a bond with him, a bond with her, and she knows that bond is eventually um not going to be torn, but she's going to have to get the baby back. So imagine how she must feel. I give her props for that. As much as I do not like her, I give her props for that. So yeah, like I said, Brad, I felt like he didn't really do much in this episode. All he did was catch up with Brad. They talk about his aunt, and how he feels like he's okay being there because his aunt would never come to a place like that. But I'm like, who actually does own that place? Like the Spencers and stuff like that. And since Carly, it's I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things. Like if Carly just came in there, I feel like she would sit there and try to kick Brad out. But um, yeah, they talk about Peter, and that's pretty much about it. At this point, Brad's been out for a little bit, and I'm waiting for him to sit there and start to get his story. Um, just like I'm waiting for Terry to actually start getting her story. She's been on this show for quite a while. And, she doesn't really have a love interest or anything like that. I don't know what they're doing with this character. The only time I really see her is when she's spent there calling Liz Biz. It's like, all right, so when are we going to sit there and get your story? Like, when is that going to kick off? I mean, Brad's gotten back, and I feel like he's gotten a little bit more shine than Terry, even though Brad's technically been on there longer, but I don't know. Yeah, he didn't really do much in this episode, so yeah. Anyway, I feel like that's about it. So with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to get going. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.